Hi, welcome. So in this video, we are going to look at text functions. Remember in the last video, we looked at introduction to formulae generally in Excel. So it's good to look at that previous video if you haven't looked at it, because this is a follow-up on some of the things that we discussed in the last video. So in this video, we're going to look at text functions, how to manipulate text like trim, len, left, concatenate, or to find maybe some stream of a string in a text. So let's just go straight to the computer and play with some of the text functions in Excel. Okay, so here we ended with this. Let me just put that, add that. Okay, now we are going to look at some of these text functions. So I'll just zoom. Let me just zoom in. As I zoom in. Okay, now let us say there is some text here. I'll just type some text there. And then the text is saying, for example, hello everyone. Okay, so now that is the text. So we can just make this to be headers so that it's easy to differentiate them. Let's just identify this to be headers. Okay, so it's easy to differentiate them. Now, what we are going to look at, so the first thing is, in a text, for a text like this, you might want to know the number of characters which this text has. So that is why you will look at something like the len function. So let me just say the length of the text. So I'll just talk the len function. So here you say, remember, you can either use equal to len. So when you double click here, it says it returns the length of the function. So if you get the text, you select the text here, and then you close this and press enter. It tells you there are 14 characters. So let's just make it simple. If I take off this one, just leave hello, I press enter. So it says there are 5 characters. So H 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can use it to count the number of characters in text. So remember, you could also go, if you know where it's located, to formulae, go to text, and then you look for the length, and then it's going to ask you the text. You would say, I want, this is where the text is found, and then it's already giving you the 5 here, like an answer. And then when you press okay, so here it just did a sum. So if I go again and I go here, go to text, go to len, then I just select the text. So it says returns the number of characters in the text string, and then text is the text whose length you want to find. Spaces count as characters. So you can select this one, and then you press on OK here, and then you still have the same 5. So this length is good to help you get the number of characters in a text. Now, next thing, let us move to trim. So how would this trim help you? So let's say, for example, in this our hello, before that there were some spaces. So you might get text like this. Already you see the length is showing that there are 11 characters. So this is something which it shows that this is not the same as the hello that you know, because if we pull this down here, as we saw, there are actually 5 characters. But with these spaces in front, and maybe probably even spaces behind, you have more characters here. So to trim out these spaces so that you have the same like this one here, that's where the trim function comes in. So this is equal to trim, then you select trim here, and then you go to, you say this is the text. Remember, just with a couple of when you see how we'll do a couple of these, you will get the syntax. There's always the function, then in between there is the parameters that you pass, or the arguments. So you close this, press enter, it's trimmed it. And if you check the length of this one now, let's check the length again. Length 2 of this one is equal to length. You take the length again of this one, press the text, close it, press enter. You see now it's 5. So this trim has helped you to remove all these spaces that were there. So you might have some data and then you suspect that the person entering the data left some spaces before or after. Trim would be what would help you do that. So let's move on to the other interesting functions with text. So the next one we'll look at is something like upper, and then of course we are going to look at lower, which you know is going to be like almost like that, lower, and then proper. So let's just look at these before we proceed. Proper. Okay, so for upper, as you might guess, you just say equal to, then as you start typing upper, it comes here, same thing, converts a text string to all upper letters. So which means if you double click this, then you choose the string, this string, and then you close it. You close your bracket, you press enter. You see it's now moved from hello with H as a capital letter, E as small letter, and now all the letters are in capital letters. If I pull this down again here, I get hello, same upper, and if you guess right, the lower would be the opposite of this, which by now you must be getting the syntax. So this is lower, and then when you start typing it, it says converts all letters in a text string to lower cases. So when you double click this and then you press click on the text that you want to convert to lower cases, remember the syntax is very simple. You close that, you press enter. Now you have everything in lower cases. The H, which was uppercase, is now lower H, and the same thing, you pull it down, you have the same effect. And now what does proper do? This is equal to proper. So I'll just type it here and then change the text. So if I select this text again, and then I close it and I press enter. Okay, now if for example I had written here, let me just say I've written here, hello everyone, something like that, and I press enter. So you see what proper does. It makes it in such a way that the first is capital, the first of each word is capital letter, and the second one is capital letter. So let me say I just had a name like James. Let's just say I had a name like James Brown. So this is what it does. It makes it now proper. The first letter is capital, and the second letter is the first letter of the first word is capital, and the first letter of the second word too is capital. So that's what proper will do for you. So now let's move on to some other functions in the text, and I think by the time we get to the end, you'll be able to manipulate all other functions generally. So there are other interesting functions like the left. So I'll just remember our format painter, copy this, and then I'll just go to the format painter, paint that same format here, and then I know I'm going to type left, tap right, okay, and then go to mid. So let's go here. So imagine again you have some text. So you have some text like, let's say like this. Let's say you have some text like that. Then you want to get just the left of this text. So you might say equal to left. So when you see it, what does it say? Returns the specified number of characters from the start of a string. So which means from the start of the string, from J, A, M, E, S, you have to specify the number of characters that you want it to return to you. So when I double click on this, what do I get? I double click on this. The first thing it says is get the text. So the text is this one. And then when I do that, I press comma. It's now saying, okay, that one is done. Now the next thing it needs from me is the number of characters. So what are the number of characters I need from the left to just cut out James? So it's like I want to split and just get the first characters. So J, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will need to put something like 5 here, and then I close it and I press enter, and you see I got James. So what if, for example, I put something like 7? I'm just going to go and edit this to 7. So if I put something like 7, you see it takes James plus the space plus the B. So it is something that you just need to know the number of characters you want from the left, and it's just going to split starting from the first character towards the last character as you specify. So that also, you might also start thinking of how the right function would be, which would mean if I move this way and I say equal to right, and then I press this, now it will say what is the text. Here is my text, and then again the number of characters now from the right, not from the left. So I would have to start backwards and going this way. So I want maybe n here, 1 2 3 4 5. So I want 5 characters from the right, so I'm going to press 5 here, and then I close the bracket and I press enter. You see I got brown. Same as if I put 7 again, like we did for the left. If I put 7 here, 7, and I press enter, it goes further than the brown, so it goes right up to the S here. So now you see the syntax is coming. And then let's look at mid. So this is equal to mid. Click here. So it actually gives you the middle of a text. So we might say, okay, where is the text, and then where is the start number, and what are the number of characters. So text first. The text is of course this text here. We press comma, then the second argument is highlighted. So start number, you say where do I want to start. So let's just say we wanted to carve out from this S space and B. So we want to start from this S. So we'd say we are starting from 1 2 3 4 from the 5th position. That's 5. And then comma, and then what are the number of characters that we want henceforth. So from that 5th position we want 1 2 3. So we can put 3 there, and then we close it, and then we press enter. So we have this middle of S to B. So imagine that we had put maybe something like 5 here for the number of characters henceforth. So it means it starts from the S here, and then it goes 5 characters from there. So you now understand how the left, right, and mid function, and they can help you to split some strings of text. Maybe if you know already how the text is supposed to be, maybe you have some text that has maybe Mr. and Mrs. at the beginning, or Mr., Mrs., Mr., Mrs., and then you just want to split the left to get the first 3, and then maybe use it for some feature engineering and say maybe if it's Mr., then it's male, if it's Mrs., then it's female, or if it's Dr., Dr. So this can really be helpful when you want to do maybe some feature engineering to extract some features from your data. Now let us look at other interesting text functions, which is concatenate. So you can get something like concatenate, and now when I do that, I can just put that in bold again like a title, just to remind you. So let's just say we have two names. So there is James here. That's like the first name, for example, the first name, and then here we have maybe the last name. So there might be times when you want to combine 2 columns together, 2 texts like this, maybe James and here is Brown, but what you are interested in is to have the full name here. So concatenate will help you do that. You just go equal to concatenate, then you take the first text and then the second text. So you get the first text is here, comma, what's the second text? The second text, and then you close it. But what do you get? You get the James Brown is fused, they are joined together, because yes, there are 2 texts, they have been joined, and concatenate has done its job. But then you could add a space in between if you know that a space is also some form of text. So let me just show you how to do that. So you can go here, modify this by saying the first string is B12, but the second string is a space like this, space, comma, and then the third string is what it is. So let me just go back here. So here. This is the first text. It's the second text. And then we press enter. Okay, so let me get this here. So now let's do that. Here equals to concatenate, comma, let me get the double strings, and then we put comma here, press enter. So now that string is in the middle, and what you could do is if you go in the middle, you press maybe the space as you want. Maybe let's just do something like that. You see, you get that space. So it's a string on its own, and that's why you might just need to give a single space, and then you have the required space, name, full name you want. So remember, concatenate can always help you link up two texts like this to get like the first name, last name, or you want to add maybe some prefix or some suffix to some text. You can just use concatenate, and then you run the formula down right from the top to the bottom, and it fills up every single thing. So every single thing that we put on this line, whatever we put here, control enter, and whatever we put here, maybe this, control enter, is going to concatenate the two of them and form one text. So now let's look at two other interesting functions of text, and I know from here you'll just be able to look at any text function and be able to intuitively know how it works. So let's look at find. So we can take find here. You could just add find here. So if we do find, and then we can also substitute. So for find, which as it is, you just get equal to find. Then now it says returns the starting position of one text string within another string. Find is case sensitive. So if I go to find, it says find text. Which text do you want to find? What am I looking for? So let's just say I'm trying to find the B in this James Brown. So I'm just going to go and I put B here, and then I put comma, and then it says within text. Which text do you want to find this B from within? So this is this text, of course. Then I close it and I press enter. So now I have, let me get back to the double apostrophe here, this one, and then I get this double apostrophe and I press enter. So it's okay. So remember to use your double quotes. So use your double quotes for this. So if I wanted to find maybe M, I change this to M and I press enter. You see it gives me 3. So 3 means it's on the third position. So it means it's 1, 2, 3. M is on the third position of this this string, James Brown here. So that is, you can use to search. Maybe search something in a list, find out if there is a specific string or a phrase. So it could be MES. Let me just type MES and I press enter, and then it tells me that it still starts from the third position here. Now we might want to substitute something, maybe substitute something and replace with another text. Let's just say, for example, this James here was D, having a D. So let's just say it was having a D. So we want to correct that. So we can go equal to substitute. So it replaces existing text with new text in a string. So what is the text? So we want to replace the text because look at the syntax here. There is the text, there is the old text, and there is the new text. So here is the text. What is the old text there? Comma, this. So the old text is D. And what do we want to replace it with? The new text. So with maybe let's just take a capital J or whatever. So when I close this now, it moves now from DAMES, James Brown, to JAMES, James Brown. So it is now being substituted. So this function has helped you to be able to substitute the D that was here to J that was here. So we could substitute even this full word here like this. So it could still as well have been like this, DAEMES. substitute all of that to JAMES, for example, and then you press enter, you still have this. And then you might say, okay, I wanted to substitute maybe instead this space to hyphen or whatever. So it's still the text. Now you say old text, what was there was a space. So here we had a space, but then I want to substitute that space to a hyphen. So let's just put a hyphen there. Then we press enter. So you see we have something like this. So this was just to show you some of the text functions. So if I go to formula and I go to text, you see there are many here like clean, fine, fixed, rep, search, t, text. So there are lots of functions here, and of course we can't go through all the functions in all of Excel like we saw in the last video. So but this should be able to help you get the syntax that you need to know how to go about any text function. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You were able to learn a lot about text functions and even just the basic syntax of how to write functions in Excel. Just remember the names of the functions, know which parameters or arguments the functions need, like text, number of characters, starting point. Just look at that, around that. And if you feel comfortable writing the text, the formula like equal to, or you feel more comfortable using the dialog box, like going to the formula side, searching the formula maybe under text or under mathematics or under statistics, and choosing the one you want and entering to the dialog box is still an option for you. So wish you all the best. Hope you enjoyed this video. Wish you good data luck. See you next video.